Hello, you're watching TVP World Talks. I'm Jonasz Rewiński. The release of the Epstein files remains a constant epicenter of a political earthquake of global proportions. Former Prince Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor was briefly taken into custody by law enforcement in the UK over allegations of abusing public office. The first time a British royal was placed under arrest in about 400 years. Meanwhile, Poland is probing into the contents of the files to search for traces of Russian involvement in the story and whether it could have an impact on our region as well. Joining us now is Melanie Sully, Professor of Political Science. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Yeah, good morning.
So let's talk about Prince Andrew first. What allegations are we talking about? Because when one thinks, oh, the Epstein files is most likely to be sexual misconduct, and there was a case against Prince Andrew in the past involving sexual misconduct. But it seems from what is being told, spoken about in the media, that this might be more related to the illegal sharing of sensitive information.
Yeah, right. We know for some time there have been these allegations against the former prince, and he has lost all his titles. He has lost his home, and the king more or less has tried to distance himself from his younger brother. And these allegations have actually not led to any prosecution. A lot of the material is in the US. The US Congress would like him to testify on this case. But there's no really hard evidence that the British police could have done very much. But a couple of weeks ago, it came to light that apparently he sent emails to Jeffrey Epstein after his conviction of sex trafficking and told him about all his activities when Andrew was a trade envoy. And this is sort of sensitive information about what lucrative financial investments Epstein could have made in Asia, in Afghanistan, Hong Kong, Singapore, etc. And he had this information within seconds, it seems, from Andrew. So the question is, was this an abuse of public office? Was Andrew at that time legally a public civil servant, as it might be, and all those rules would apply? But certainly the police in the last 3 weeks now have been going through all this information, and it seems they have enough together to search his homes and to arrest him, and he was in custody for 12 hours yesterday.
So you've mentioned there are legal issues to be examined, including his status as a public servant. Do you think that what's likely to follow now would be a lengthy investigation and court case, and that during that time we will not hear much else concerning that particular situation? Or do you think that, you know, the public eye will be drawn to this person again and will also focus on the previous allegations of sexual misconduct, which were settled out of court, if I remember correctly? A large sum of money was paid, and now the victim is no longer with us. She committed suicide back in 2025. Nevertheless, people will likely return to this once again and keep asking questions. What happened?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not going to go away. Neither of the cases are going to go away. Certainly the investigation of what he sent emails to Epstein while he was a trade envoy for Britain, and it will be linked to possibly how Epstein made money. I mean, Epstein made money out of information that he got, and whether this happened when he got something from Andrew, we don't know. And what Andrew got in return, we don't really know. And maybe it's some of these deals that Epstein got through such information paid for his sex trafficking. I mean, the two are linked. But certainly the British public now will not let this go, and the media won't let it go. So both of these things will be under investigation, but it will last a long time, which actually for the royal family is a disaster, because it will be constantly now in the newspapers. And although the police investigation will be confidential, we can't expect too much to be revealed. nevertheless, I think some things will leak through. And there will be rumors, if speculation, and a drip or feed, which is going to be constant, maybe months, maybe even years. A possible court case could go on for. So this is not a story that's going to go away anytime soon.
So plenty of damage control to be done in that case. Now, I would like to move on to the second part of the story relating to the possible involvement of Russian secret services, or the Russian state in general. Do we know whether Mr. Epstein actually had any contacts with the Russians? Is there concrete evidence, or is it mostly just speculation based on, these snippets of information that we have from the emails?
Yeah, I think it's at this stage snippets of information from emails, whereby perhaps the snippets are rather large, and this has led to a lot of speculation in the media. Certainly, Epstein had apparently contacts with Russian oligarchs. He wanted to pull levers in Moscow. He wanted to meet Putin. We don't know why. Maybe he overestimated his ego and thought Putin would be pleased to meet him, but obviously that didn't transpire. So in the absence of any real concrete information and just these large snippets, the press obviously elaborates themselves and speculate. But I don't think.
What do you think the motivation could have been? Was it financial? Was it, expanding his reach into Russia and other countries in order to do business, or was it related to being able to obtain more women for the purposes of, human trafficking? It seems to be the case that he had an eye for a particular type, and he was actually actively looking through, or having his associates look through, modeling agencies, other institutions, in order to conduct these illegal activities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the girls or women that he thought were ideal for trafficking were from Belarus, were from Ukraine and Russia, and I think these model types were particularly sought after in the West. So if he could get those, then he could make more money. But that doesn't exclude the possibility, at least, that he was also interested in financial deals. He worked on two levels. I mean, there was the sex trafficking, and there was also how to finance getting influence. And the larger the spider's web was for Epstein, the more people and VIPs, prominent people he could pull in, and that gave him also the possibility, at least, of blackmail. And so it was a spiral for him of ever making money, ever making sex trafficking, and expanding this web. As we know now, it was really global.
Now, speaking of blackmail, how likely is it that the KGB might have actually had kompromats concerning Mr. Epstein's activities, thereby forcing him to work for them in a certain capacity? Obviously, this is just speculation for the time being, but if he becomes involved, and if this is the line of business, so to say, that he's engaged in, do you think that the Russian secret services would not have tried to pull the strings and get him to extract information from the wealthy and powerful individuals in the West that they could then use?
I have no idea, but I think it would make a fantastic story, and it will probably be in the future the subject of many films.
So you don't think that the Russian secret services could have actually been using him as a source of information? We don't, at least from based on the evidence that we have now.
Well, I wouldn't exclude anything, but I have no information that could back that up.
So that definitely is a developing story, and the Polish authorities are investigating this for this very reason, to see whether this might have an impact in our region. Melanie Sully was our guest today here on TVP World. Thank you very much for joining us and for sharing your insight.
Thank you also.
And I'm Jonasz Rewiński. You're watching TVP World. Please do stay with us.